Hi, I'm Richard from ClearLeft. Welcome to this ClearLeft tiny lesson. Today I'm going to talk to you about the question protocol. The question protocol is a simple but effective technique we always use when we're designing forms online. And what it is really a way of doing detective work to get behind what the form is all about. It's not about doing any kind of interface design, and so you don't need any tools for this, just some tenacity and the willingness to go out and ask why. People use forms for all sorts of different reasons online, whether it's simply buying something, renewing a passport, reporting a problem in the street to your local council, all sorts of different reasons as far as the imagination can think of. Now, as designers, there's lots of different ways that we can also improve forms, whether it's doing simple things like ensuring the right keyboard is used on the mobile device, whether we're putting in lots of useful microcopy to help people understand what they're supposed to be filling out on the form and where they may or may not have gone wrong. Whether we're using things like progressive disclosure to only show aspects of the form that we need our customers to be filling out at the given time. But the biggest impact that you can have on a form is to ask the right questions and only the right questions. And that's where the question protocol comes in. It gets you to the bottom of every single thing that you're asking to make sure that you need to be asking that. So, for example, you may come across a form that already exists, and there may be questions on there that in the past were useful but are no longer needed. Perhaps they're simply asking nice to haves, or that there's information there that can be inferred or would be better, more appropriately asked at a different opportunity. The question protocol asks the following of any information that you're asking. Why do you need this information? First off, that's the big thing to ask about anything. Why do you need to be asking your customer this? And that can actually be broken down into a whole series of other smaller questions, such as who will use the information and what decision will be made or action taken based upon the information collected. So if you're collecting something, there needs to be a reason for it. You need to be doing something with it. It's got to lead on to something else. Thirdly, how will you validate the information that is submitted? How will you go about checking it's correct? Does it matter if it isn't? And what happens if the submitted information is false or made up? It's amazing how many times Mickey Mouse fills out a form because people don't want to put their name in. Now, does it matter? If not, why are you asking for their name? Number 5, what's the impact of the information not being submitted? If people skip over something, or if they're allowed to skip over something, does it matter? Does it really have an impact? In which case, maybe you shouldn't be asking that in the first place. 6, what happens if the information goes out of date? If that information is being kept and used for a while, maybe that's problematic. Maybe it really doesn't matter. Maybe it won't be used for more than a few hours, or right there and then. Number 7, can a customer update their submitted information? Should they be able to? So in that instance where things go out of date, can the customer get back into the system to update it? Do they need to be able to phone up to change that information? Or really doesn't it matter at all? Number 8, are you allowed legally or ethically to collect this information at all? It's like, should you really be collecting that? Should we really be asking that question of people? Number 9, how is that information shared? With whom? What are the privacy implications? Are there GDPR things that come into play when you're asking this kind of question? And related to that, how securely does it need to be stored? Is this private, sensitive information? Is it financial data that should not get into the wrong hands by any means at all? So this is a whole series of 10 questions which, combined together, lead you to asking the ultimate one. Is the question really necessary? And it's vital to ask that for every single thing that you put in an online form, because each piece of information you ask for has 2 costs. Firstly, and probably vitally, it's an impairment to accurate completion of the process. If the form's really long, people are going to bail halfway through. That's fairly obvious. Secondly, there's a time and money cost of collecting, storing, processing, and updating any information that you ask from a customer. Each question has an actual cost, particularly where it comes to handling situations where the information is false or inconsistent or starts to get out of date. So in the long run, asking this question to your client, to your stakeholders, whomever, going through the question protocol, that can actually save money and improve conversions and process completion in the long run. So that was our ClearLeft tiny lesson on the question protocol. We've got loads more tiny lessons online. Check them out on YouTube. And if you found this interesting, if you have any questions, then leave us a comment and we'd love to get back to you. And you can also follow us on Twitter at ClearLeft. Thanks for listening and see you next time.